Good evening, and welcome to Creative Broadcasting, the station of unlimited possibilities, presents Creating Your Seat at the Table with your host, Ashley Little, as she welcomes her guest to the table.
Welcome to Creating Your Seat at the Table. I am your host, Ashley Little. A little bit about myself: corporate professional by day, entrepreneur by night, two-time best-selling author, CEO and founder of Ashley Little Enterprises, LLC, owner and creator of Creative Broadcasting, and co-founder and owner of Talk Radio and TV Network, LLP. Tonight we have an amazing special VIP guest, Dr. Tangi Crossfield. A little bit about her. Dr. Tangi is a former lecturer and undergraduate advisor of history at Clark Atlanta University in Atlanta, Georgia. Dr. Tangi is also a former assistant professor of history and political science at Payne College in Augusta, Georgia. She is a certified life coach, a certified human subjects research investigator, a creative producer for Lisade Productions, a media personality for Lisade Media Group, and a community ambassador for Georgia Injury Attorneys. Coleman Crossfield is also the president and CEO of Creative Christian Works, Inc. KCW's team of professionals are mentors who utilize biblical principles to empower individuals to get the results they desire. More specifically, our inspirational coaches and lecturers provide strategies and techniques for upgrading your life, improving business and finance, and discovering and manifesting purpose. Coaching, lectures, seminars, and spiritual retreats are tools that exhibit this endeavor. Dr. Tangi's radio show, Inspirational Talk with Dr. Tangi, once aired on the Globe 87.9 FM. She was a co-host of ATL Connect Radio that airs on WAEC Love 860 AM radio station. She was also the host of Love Manifesto, a radio show that aired on Mix106Radio.com. Love Manifest will air on World Star Hit Radio Spring 2019, which has already started. The premise for this show is to explore, analyze, and manifest thriving platonic, intimate, and business relationships. Dr. Tangi earned an Associate of Science in Word Processing and Administration from DeKalb Community College and a Bachelor's of Arts in Biblical Studies from Beulah Heights Bible College. She also earned a Master's of Arts in Christian Education from the Interdenominational Theological Center, Charles H. Mason Seminary, and a Master of Arts in Organizational Leadership and Coaching and Mentoring from Regent University. Her Doctorate of Arts in Humanities and African American Studies is from Clark Atlanta University. Dr. Tangi worked for several Fortune 500 corporations such as IBM, American Express Vacations, and United Parcel Services. Dr. Tangi has written many manuscripts in several different genres: fiction, nonfiction, poetry, and children's books. Dr. Tangi's work include a pilot study of the impact of sexism on African American women and ministers in Methodism, 1980 through 2000, and Forever 17, the Bianca Dillard story. A historical analysis of Black women in the media and its impact in 2000 through 2013 is a current research project. Dr. Tangi's research interests are analyzing the impact of sexism on women in sacred and secular institutions and writing historical novels. Dr. Tangi awards include, but are not limited to, the Rice 2018 recipient of the Founders Rising Star Award, C4 Atlanta Leading Lady, National Women's History Month, Atlanta, Georgia, March 2018, Women Uplifted Women of Resilient and Distinction Award, Atlanta, Georgia, Fall 2017, Aldrich Macmillan Achievement Award nominee, Teaching Category, Clark Atlanta, Atlanta, Georgia, in Spring 2013, and Not by Bread Alone Breakfast Forum, Outstanding Speaker Award, Atlanta, Georgia, July 13, 2013. Welcome to the table, Dr. Tangi.
Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. You have such an amazing bio.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You are welcome. So would you please tell us more about your amazing entrepreneur journey?
Well, actually, my entrepreneur journey began with a dream and a desire. I envisioned myself as a successful entrepreneur whose mission is to reveal and develop within and for my clients the inherent extraordinary abilities that will move them forward in their personal and professional lives. So this also includes teaching critical thinking as a method to evaluate, access, and verify ideas, to seek for facts, to seek for truth, to compare opinions, to dialogue about world leaders, nature, and God. This type of teaching transforms individuals and allow each one to discover his or her own values, purposes, talents, and gifts in order to appreciate cultural diversity and embrace their self-worth.
I love it. So tonight, Dr. Tangi, we want to talk about the power of the networking and collaborating, because we know that that's so important to getting to the next level. So would you please share with our listeners why effective networking is so important?
Why effective networking is so important. My gosh, that's a lot, but I'll tell you this. I'll do it in short. May I share first my definition of networking? Is that okay?
Yes,
absolutely. Networking for me is simply a group of people who exchange information, contacts, and experience for professional or social purposes. Effective networking is when you connect with like-minded people and learn how to create and maintain beneficial relationships. So it's important that you know your mission when you embark upon the networking journey. For example, what do you want and who are you looking for? Who can certainly be of help to you? Effective networking is important because it helps you obtain the results you desire. And finally, it's important that you know that your network determines your net worth.
I love it. Your network determines your net worth. That is so important. So could you elaborate a little bit more on that, Dr. Tangi? Because I want people to really understand that, because we have to be mindful that when we are networking, that we're just not, like you said, giving out our cards or anything like that, that we're actually building those relationships. So can you go a little bit more in depth on that for us?
Absolutely. Two things that I'd like to go in depth about. Number one, when you're going somewhere, have a mission. What is my reason for going to this place? What type of people would be there, and what will I leave with? Is this just a soiree? Is this for me to connect with like-minded people? Is this for me to make sure I get some results that I desire? Am I wasting time? What am I really doing? So before you plan anything, and that's what I do, I have a social calendar and I have a professional calendar. My social calendar is very small. My professional calendar is very large. My professional calendar is going to give me more of the results that I'm desiring at this time. So I have a mission in mind that when I'm going to a particular place, I'm saying to myself, okay, there's going to be a lot of attorneys there. What does that mean? And how do I benefit from this group of people while I'm there? So make sure you have in mind what your mission would be and a plan of how you're going to work that room when you enter it, right?
Yes.
Number two, your network determines your net worth. Now, if you're spending a lot of time on the corner, shooting the breeze and drinking liquor and playing cards, do not expect to leave with a whole lot afterwards. You had a great time, and that's wonderful, and there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to do. Now, if you spend a lot of your time doing that and you're not getting the results that you desire, then that's because that's where you invested your time. How much money are you gaining through that process? What are those people's financial and let me back up. How can those people help you reach your goals? What are they really bringing to you? What information are they sharing with you? What strategies and techniques are you taking away to help you get what you need? And what is the income of those people? Not that income is everything all the time. Please do not think that it's all about money 100% of the time. But I will tell you this, at least 80 to 90% of the time when I go somewhere, I don't want to waste my time, and I don't want to be in a situation where I'm not gaining strategies and techniques that's going to move me forward in my life. Because you can look at that group of people, and you can see what lifestyle that they're living, That tells you if their lifestyle is not where you desire to be, it's everybody that wants the same thing. Some people want an average lifestyle. There's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want. But if you want to live a different kind of lifestyle, you want to live in a gated community, then you're going to have to hang out with some different people that's going to help you get there. So your network determines your network. It determines your network. Your network determines your net worth. It just does.
So for our listeners that are listening, make sure you have a mission and a plan, and make sure you understand that your network determines your net worth. And it's so many nuggets that you said, Dr. Tangi, because it's so important that we get in the right circles of people that's where we want to be, right? We can't get there if we're not in that right circle, in that position, and go where the important people are, right?
That's important. Right.
Yes, exactly. So what are some questions that that the listeners should ask when they are networking to create valuable conversations? Because, when you're networking, you want to make sure when you're reaching out or you're talking to certain people that, are high caliber where you want to go, you want to make sure that your conversation is of value. So can you speak on that and elaborate?
Absolutely. Before you start a conversation, there's nonverbal communication. So it's nonverbal communication, and I think that it should begin with a good handshake and eye contact, not staring, but a good handshake and some eye contact, an introduction of yourself. When I go in, I say I'm Dr. Latangela Crossfield, or I say I'm Latangela Crossfield, also known as Dr. Tangi. Why is that important? Because I need people to know my legal name. I need people to be able to go and research me. That's what I do. If I come somewhere and you say, hey, I'm Miss Ashley Little. Oh, okay, it's a common name. Ashley Little. What's your middle name? What's your middle initial? Okay, what do you do for a living? I can narrow it down when I research you, because I research people. The one thing that I learned about people who are highly successful, they are going to research you before they bring you into their club. Their club. Their group of people. And so after you've done that, you should always have an elevator speech. I tell you this, research says the elevator speech should be around 15 seconds. I haven't reduced it to that yet. Doing a 30-second elevator speech works for me. I have yet to get down to 15 seconds. It's usually around 30 seconds, right? And so have that elevator speech handy. After you have shaken the hand, you have introduced yourself, and you've done your elevator speech, then you want to move on. So what do you do for a living? What is it that you do? That's a question. The second question, what kind of projects are you working on right now? It's important to know what that person is engaging in at that time. What is it that they're doing? Because you want to see how you can connect with them on that project, or whether or not it's something you may be interested in. And the next thing, what do you think the most important skills are for success in this field? You want to know whether or not you have the skills that person will be interested in, because you want to know what the important skills are in that career field or in that endeavor that they're engaged in. The next thing, how can I help you meet your goals? So you're already letting them know that, hey, now that I found out what you're doing, what skills that you may be looking for, there may be some kind of connection here. So I'm letting you know that, hey, I'm really quite interested in what's going on with you or what endeavors you're involved in. So, listen, I just want you to know that I'm available. So I'm asking you, how is it that I can be of help to you? That person may say, right now, I don't need any help. Okay, that's fine. Well, if you ever need any help, you know how to reach me, right? You give them your business card. That's what you do. But you want to hold off with getting the business card, because sometimes people meet folks, they give business cards and they keep walking. I say make an impression and then give the business card. That's the closure of the matter.
I love it, and that's so important. And which leads me to what I want to speak on next, because you built that relationship now where you introduce yourself, right? And like you said, you're seeing where you could fit yourself into the equation. But then it comes with making sure that we keep it going afterwards, and that means that good follow-up. So could you elaborate on that and tell us more about how the follow-up is so important? That's the most important part of the process.
Absolutely. It's very important that you follow up. 70% of the people in 2016 were hired at a company where they had a connection. 70%.
Wow.
You know what I say with networking? It really kind of is like a informal interview. That's really what it is. It's like an informal interview. When Barack Obama was senator, before he became president, he was basically interviewing people. He was interviewing people to become a part of his cabinet. Know why? Because when he became president, he started recalling all the people he had met, he had been associated with, he had done business with, and here are all of these positions that's available. So he's thinking about, okay, I met Dr. Tangi. She did a great job. I need to give her a call and have her come and do A, B, and C, right? So basically, you're really kind of, it's an informal interview process is really what it is. And so I would say that networking is synonymous to an informal interview. So when you follow up via email, post, a letter, a phone call, an inbox, you stand out among the rest. Because a lot of people don't follow up. And you want to do this within 48 hours of meeting a person. That's what you want to do. You want to follow up with them. Because sometimes people may have misplaced your card. They may have forgotten you. But then you're like, hey, here I am. And that happened, a couple of nights ago. It's a movie star's girlfriend. And I talked with her last year. She was like, don't I know you from somewhere? And I'm thinking, what's your name again? And she told me her name. I'm not going to say it. She told me her name. She was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, we met. I called you back. And I called her twice. And after that, I was like, I'm not going to follow up. Maybe it's not the time, or maybe it's not supposed to happen. She said, oh, my gosh. She says, I'm so glad I ran into you tonight. So there it is. So know what I did? I made sure she had my number. And I called her and said, it was a pleasure meeting you. Thank you so much. I did it in less than 12 hours. In less than 12 hours. So I sealed the deal, wherever this might go. So it's important that you follow within 48 hours.
Yes. And when you're doing that within 48 hours, you want to keep the conversation going and continue to build more rapport, Dr. Tangi. What is some advice you would give people how to, in order to continue the relationship, in order to continue to build it after the 48 hours?
Well, the thing that I did with her is that I simply said to her, listen, this is Dr. Tangi. I ran into you at this place, and we talked about A, B, and C, and I was just returning your phone call. What was so interesting, after I did that, I said I wasn't going to go because we had already talked about some things. And so she and I ran into each other again this weekend. And she saw me. She looked at me. She says, I got your information. She says, definitely. She says, and I want to take pictures with you. And I didn't put the pictures anywhere. I didn't post anywhere because I don't post everything. And so, so I said that I will give it some time. We chatted. We had a great time because I know she's trying to make sure that this is something that she really wants to do because it's about business. This is about business. Yes. It's not about friendship. If it ends up being friendship, that's fine, but this is about business. So the thing is that, when you have an event, let's say I just had an event. If I didn't sell all of my tickets, you know what I'm going to do? The people I want to connect with, I'm going to give them a free ticket. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, Miss Ashley Little, that couple of days before, you have one free ticket. It will be an honor to have you as a guest at this particular event. You have a free ticket. Please confirm within the next 24 hours.
Love it.
And so that person comes, we get to connect again.
I love it. I love it. So many awesome nuggets. I'm loving this, Dr. Tangi. So after we build our relationships, we networking, then we're did our follow-up. Now we're on to collaboration. So let's talk more about why effective collaboration. That's so important, that the collaboration is effective. Why is that so important when trying to get to the next level?
You know, I may seem like I'm all over the place with this reply, but I'm going somewhere with this.
Okay.
The most measurable benefits are less time spent and more money saved. Less time spent and more money saved. It is no surprise that effective teams finish important tasks faster and meet deadlines more efficiently than any individual workers can do. Okay? It is usually, but not always, or shall I say this, it can be easier, quicker, and more enjoyable when you work as a team towards a common goal. So, basically, in short, collaboration gives team members an equal opportunity to share ideas. And not only do they share these ideas, they capitalize off of each person's strengths, gifts, and talents. Because gifts, strengths, and talents vary from person to person, but when you get a team together and you recognize what this person brings, you will end up realizing that not only is the sky the limit, but there's unlimited possibilities that awaits you in your endeavors.
Yes. And with that, it's important, because I know you speak about research a lot, Dr. Tangi. It's so important that we do research before we collaborate. Could you talk more about that?
Well, you know, everything that I do is prayer and research driven. Everything. The thing is that you have a lot of people that give a lot of opinions. It's opinionated in it. And I'm like, okay, you know, I'm interested in what research is saying. Why is research important? Research is important for many different reasons, but I believe the primary reason is that people want to know what really works. What works most of the time? What is the best strategy in this case? What is the best technique in this case? Yes. So to conducting research, I'm always conducting research. I love to learn. And so, yeah, absolutely. Research is very important. Absolutely. But having people who come with various gifts and talents too, you'll be surprised of the end results that you get from those team members.
And that's so important, because I'm a true believer that our destiny is tied to our connection. So it's so important that we understand that it's room for all of us to win. And I think when more people understand that, it will be a much better world. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that.
Yes. So when we're collaborating, we want to make sure that our collaborations are mutual and genuine. So it's so important that when we're collaborating with people, for all of our listeners, that it's just not to collaborate to go out the other person or to see what you're going to get. It needs to be a mutual understanding. So, Dr. Tangi, would you please talk more about why it's important that we build genuine reciprocal relationships?
Oh, gosh, that is so imperative. I'll tell you this. Being in concert now with like-minded people can lead to reciprocal giving and receiving. And in fact, I believe this is a characteristic of highly successful relationships. People understand that there's a give and take. You got to be in concert with people. Integrity is a must. It is a must. Follow through is a must. And don't overcommit. Oh, my gosh. That is the biggest thing. Some people, they just overcommit. And I'm thinking, I can sit down and say, that's not going to happen, right? I guess because of my organizational degree, maybe that might have something to do with it. I don't know. But, yeah, that is very important. And I'll also say this. When it's fully integrated into a relationship, the motivation that drives each partner is that of enlightened self-interest. This refers to deep understanding and trust, that when you freely give unconditionally to each other, your own well-being is enhanced. When you're in a relationship that is reciprocal, right? You understand, look, I'm committed to this. I'm not going to overcommit. I'm going to make sure that I tap into my gifts, my strengths, and my talents, and I'm going to follow through with this thing. And when two people or more people are simultaneously operating from this understanding, there's no telling what they can create together. Life becomes limitless. And I know a lot of times people say the sky's the limit. No, I don't want to reach for the sky. I don't want to reach for the moon. I want to be limitless. That's what I want to do.
Yes, yes. And I love that. And another thing I want to point out, too, and you basically pretty much said it when you said freely give to each other, that there's a respect level there as well with these relationships, too. That you, like you said, you feed off your strengths and your weaknesses, right? And that we all know our roles. Could you speak more on that?
Absolutely. You have to respect people. I'll tell you this, is that there are some people I have trained, and they lack respect. I'll tell you this, especially a lot of the younger generation, they seem to have a sense of entitlement. For whatever reason, they don't want to start at the bottom. They think they're supposed to have the same perks that you have. They're supposed to walk through the door. They just go, I'm just going to be me. I'm just going to be me. If you be you, you're not going to grow. It's not going to happen. You know, you have to be okay with being shaped and formed and challenged so that you can grow beyond your expectations, so that you can become perfected in what it is that you're doing, that you're a major force in your career field. You want to be a strong competitor in what it is that you're doing.
I agree. I agree, Dr. Tansy. And what I will say, I want to speak on it too, what you just touched on about, the entitlement. Yes, I've seen that too. So it's so important, I think, on both sides too, that, that you are connecting with the right mentors and coaches, and that the coach and the mentor is okay if you do pass them. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's so important too when getting to the next level, because sometimes, because people might be more seasoned in the field, they might not think they can learn from somebody that has not, but you can learn from each other. So can you kind of touch on that too?
Absolutely. I'll tell you something that I love karate movies, and I've seen, what do you call it, the Chiefs or whatever, the major one. I forgot what they're called. I don't know why I'm forgetting. But anyway, when they train their students, and when their students supersede them, they bow to their students and they said, I have done all I could do. Now you have surpassed me in this game, and so I'm going to pass you on to someone else. And they respect you in that. Absolutely. We have to pass the baton. We have to do that. And you have so many people, they want to keep you grounded forever. Well, I thought maybe we should keep them in this role until I die. No. When people get to a place where they need to move forward, they do. And that's one of the things that I do with Love Manifesto, the segment What's Popping with Shannon. I help Shannon create that segment. And that segment is not just for Shannon. That segment is for Shannon to create her own platform so she can move forward, not be there with me forever. That's not the goal. The goal is to release her so that she can start her own show somewhere else. And so then I can move somebody else into that place so I can train them and groom them, and so I can release them too when the time comes. Not keep somebody forever. You have some people, they never want to release you. They never want you to become all that you could become. They want you to be servants forever.
Yes. I love that. Oh, I'm loving this. And I know Shannon for a fact, Dr. Tansy, because I was on your show last year, and I see how she's already have her show now. And I remember when she was co-hosting with you, right? So it's like you continuing to build her, and that's how it should be.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. So you have a lot of experience in the media as well. And we know that building relationships is so important in the media industry. So what are some strategies you would give listeners to take when they're trying to book with the media? What are some strategies they should have and should have to prepare for when doing that?
When you say what are some of the strategies that they can have when they're trying to book with the media, Do you mean trying to be on somebody's show, or can you kind of
more so, okay, being on someone's show or, magazine opportunities, anything related to the media, but definitely going on the shows and how they need to approach that situation, how you need to reach out to people, what to say, those things.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you that some of the foundational stuff that I think is important is that everyone needs to have an online presence, because your online presence is your portfolio. So before you reach out to anyone, like especially me, I'm going to research you. I need to be able to find your information. so keep an online presence. If you have a website, upload your bio, create a one-pager on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, something where people can find information about you. Upload some of the things that you've done, some of the awards that you've won, that kind of thing. Present yourself the way you want to be perceived. When you're online, make sure you're very careful about how you're presenting yourself. Remember, networking is it's synonymous to an informal interview. Appeal to people you desire to be like or connect with. And then after that, you can say, for example, you want to connect with someone, you can contact them and say, hey, I'm Miss Ashley Little. I've been a fan of Black Enterprise. I really want to be a contributing writer. Attached is my bio, my resume, my headshot. Here is a sample writing. I have other writings. This is how you can get that information. I look forward to hearing from you. Send that information to them. Give them about 3-4 days or a week to reply. If you don't hear from them, send a follow-up email to them. Do that. Or you can just send a card. Listen, I'm really interested. You don't want to nag people. You don't want to run people down. You don't want to do that. I do maybe 2 or 3 follow-ups. Remember I said to you the young lady that I spoke with, who's girlfriend of this movie star, you know if I say. But anyway, I called her twice because she was the one that said something to me, and I'm like, okay, well, she said it to me. But I heard that people in Hollywood say a lot of things that they don't really, I guess do. But anyway, so I was like twice. I was like, okay, I did it twice. I'm not going to do anything else. If it's supposed to be, it'll happen. Yes. Full circle. We came full circle. She remembered me. So, you just reach out to that person. You let them know that you're interested.
Yes. I love that. And that online presence is so important, Dr. Tins. You are definitely correct. Yes, please make sure for all listeners that definitely we can find you, that you have an online presence, you have your bio, your headshots, and that you're visible, because I do agree with Dr. Tins. She is definitely a researcher. Yes, she is. So that's true. And make sure you're in the right circles, too, the right circles that you're trying to attract. I agree with that.
Absolutely.
So tell us about your amazing show, Dr. Tansy, Love Manifest. Let's talk about it. I want listeners to know how they can be a guest, how they can listen, and how they can support you.
Well, I'm excited about this show. The premise for my radio show is to explore, analyze, and manifest thriving, platonic, intimate, and business relationships. So my guests are usually psychologists, life coach strategists, counselors, and people who are experts in their career fields. And I also have a segment where I allow comedians, singers, and actors to really use that platform to showcase their talents and launch their careers. I really do secretly refer to myself as a love movement strategist. So, it's all about love. People need love, you guys. People need to be loved, and I love the idea of spreading love all over the globe. I'm so excited about that. I'm also so excited about sharing knowledge that transforms lives. I get up every day thinking about how can I make a positive difference in the world. And I just love people. I don't know where I get that from. Honey, I just love people. I may not like what they're saying. Now, there's a difference between like and love. There's a difference between like and love. But I just naturally love people. And even if they're hateful, and I say, oh, gosh, please help them because they need help. I'm still going to love you anyway. So, But, yeah, the person is interested and being on my show, they can simply email me at tangicrossfield@yahoo.com. That is TANGICROSS, F as in Frank, IELD, Tangi Crossfield @yahoo.com. Or they can simply inbox me on Facebook at Latangela Crossfield. But I am also interested in having 7 slots this year for a co-host. And that co-host can actually help select a person to be on the show, an artist to be on the show. They can also, with them being on the show, will come with them having a commercial as well. It gives them an opportunity to use it as a reel if they need it for any reasons. And so they get to have that copy of the broadcast as their reel. So I have 7 slots this year, and there's other information that they'll need to know as well about that slot. But the same thing applies for that particular person as well. It's just inbox me at Latangela Crossfield on Facebook, or simply email me at tangicrossfield@yahoo.com.
So, listeners, please reach out to Dr. Tangi if you fit the categories and align with her show. And she just stated opportunities. She has 7 slots for co-host opportunities. So, definitely, if it fits you, definitely reach out to her and make sure you're prepared. I will say that more than once.
Absolutely.
Yes. Absolutely. Yes. So, Dr. Tangi, I asked all of my guests this question. How did you create your seat at the table?
Lady, I love that question. I really love that question. I'll say this. I've invested many years in creating authentic relationships with key decision makers. I went in there being humble, being meek, being making sure you're on time, making sure that you are working as if you're getting paid, even if you're not, because it's an opportunity to gain experience, to gain exposure, and also to connect with like-minded people. I volunteered many years without pay or without compensation, but I worked as if I was being paid. That's what I did. That's what I did. And I will say this. I respected those who gave me a platform, those who trained me, and I've got to say this, even those who used me.
You just said a word. You said a word, Dr. Tangi. That comes with prayer now. That comes with prayer and grace. Yes. But, yes, I agree.
Yes. Yes, and some people, they will use you up. Yes, they will. But I'll tell you this. There are cases when I had to bring my own table. Because there are some people, they know you're gifted, they know you're talented, they know that you're worthy of something, but they will block you. They will shut the door in your face. How do you bring your own table? You create your own platform. You create your own business. You create your own seminar. You create your own workshop. You go on Facebook, and you go live. And at some point in time, somebody, if you have what somebody needs, they will recognize you. So you have to, in some instances, you may have to bring your own table.
I agree, Dr. Tangi. I brought mine plenty of times because you can't wait on nobody else to give you anything. You got to create your own, right? Create your own. Because relationships are more, and you said work for free, that's so much value to be a servant leader because relationships are more valuable than money.
Yes, yes. Absolutely.
I love it. So we all have a journey that we all have to take, and everything is a process. So what did failure teach you?
Wow. Oh, my gosh. I'll tell you this. There is a lesson in every experience. I'll tell you some of the things that failure taught me. It taught me what to do and what not to do. Now, failure is a hard teacher, but failure is a good teacher. It really is a good teacher. It taught me to be humble. It taught me that no one is perfect, that people are going to make poor choices. They're going to make bad decisions. But you don't want to be in a cycle of making poor choices. You don't want to be in a cycle of making poor decisions. You want to learn from your failure, right? So I would say this. Let your moves be prayer and research driven. That's what I do. Let it be prayer and research-driven. That has worked for me. And you learn the pros and the cons. You learn the strategies and the techniques through failure.
Yes, yes. And we have to learn to embrace that, because that's part of getting to the next level. A lot of us don't want to go through that. We don't want to go through that. We want the end result, but we don't want to go through the process and not knowing that the process is the most important part of the journey.
Absolutely.
So we know that failure is a lesson. So what did success teach you?
You know what I learned with success? Because of failure, I think that I appreciate success in a different way had I never failed before. There's some people handed everything. I worked my way from the bottom. Literally, I worked from the bottom up to where I am now. Things were not given to me. It was not quick. It was not easy. And I tell you this, in some cases, it was not enjoyable. It was not. But I learned that nothing is impossible. And this may sound strange, and you may have heard it before. I believe everything that you can conceive, you can achieve. If you can think of it, it can happen. I remember I had a dream that I saw a car flying around in the sky. And I saw highways in the sky. And I said, well, what kind of dream is that? I know that I see things in dreams and visions, but that's weird. One day I was in class, and one of my students said, Dr. Crossfield said, did you know that there's a flying car? They have a flying car that you can buy. It's $300,000. And I almost passed out. I said, God, you gave me that dream many years ago. So I learned, if you can think of it, sweetie, it can literally happen. Success taught me that nothing is impossible, but you got to persevere. Perseverance is an asset. Because it doesn't come quick, because it doesn't come easy, because it was not enjoyable, doesn't mean that it cannot happen. There's a price to pay for most things worthy of having. If it's worth having, you're going to have to pay for it. It's going to cost you some time, some money, something, right? And there's a process on this journey called life that leads to destiny. It really is. A lot of people break down during the process. That process is to shape and mold you for the door that you're about to enter into. Because if you enter into the door without being processed, then you may not do as well. You may not stay there for a very long time. There's so many people that have won the lottery, but they end up broke in less than 10 or 20 years. They don't know how to handle the money. Everybody don't know how to handle success and riches and wealth. That if you go through the process, whatever that process may be, I believe that process prepares you for destiny. It prepares you so that when you get there, you can be highly successful and effective. That's what I believe. And as a lifelong learner, I've learned that learning really does equip me to excel. So how do I do that? I go to score.org. I go to Small Business Association classes. I go to any free classes they may have. If I got to pay $10 or $20 to go, I want to make sure that I do not become antiquated. I want to make sure that I stay abreast with the latest technology and techniques and strategies so that I do not become a dinosaur.
Love it. You know what, Dr. Tandy, everything you said was just powerful. You know, always remain a student. And if everybody understood the access, you had to pay for access. If we all understand that, in order for us to get there, we got to invest time, like you said, in money. We have to. And always, like you said, always remain a student. And a true successful person is somebody that reaches back and pulls others up. That's when you're really successful.
Right.
Love it. So what can we expect from you the rest of 2019? I know you, quarter one, have over exceeded. We're in quarter two now. So what can we expect from you the rest of 2019, Dr. Tandy?
Well, I plan to relaunch my book, February 17, The Bianca Dillard Story, which chronicles the life and death of an only child. and how that experience impacts family, friends, and a community. My only daughter was killed. Well, my only child, which is my daughter, was killed in a car accident. And so I want to relaunch the book because Peak Publishing went out of business, and now you cannot order the books through them. So I've got to relaunch that book. And I'm also working on another book, which is Crush the Ice, a memoir. It's actually about my life story. The goal is to launch it this year. It would be nice to get a movie deal for both Forever 17 and Crush the Ice, a memoir. So I'm working on that. Love Manifesto is a radio show. The ultimate goal is for it to be a television show. I spoke to a producer already, and so we'll see how that works out.
Well, super congratulations on all the amazing things, Dr. Tangi, that you're doing with your relaunching of your book, your new book, and your TV show. I'm sure you're going to do it, and I'm sure you're going to have some more amazing things that are going to happen the rest of this year. And I can't wait to see all the things that God is going to do, and I can't wait to invite you back to the show.
Oh, I'd love to come back. Absolutely.
Yes. So you please tell the listening audience again how they can follow and contact you, Dr. Tangi.
Okay, my website is drtangi.com. That's drtangi.com. And, of course, on all media platforms, it's either one or two things, Dr. Tangi, that's Dr_Tangi, or Latangela Crossfield, and that's Latangela Crossfield, CROSSFS and Frank IELD.
Amazing. So please follow Dr. Tangi. She's amazing. I want to thank you, Dr. Tangi, for taking the time out of your very, very busy schedule to come to the table tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. So I would like to give a special thanks to Tammy Collins-Marquis and John Schamberger. I would also like to give a special thanks to author Kimberly McLemore. And I would like to give a special thanks to my intern that is on our call tonight. Her name is Tyler Renee from Tennessee State. So she will be interning with us this summer. And you all may follow me on Facebook at Ashley Little and on Instagram at _Ashley A. Little. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Creating Your Seat at the Table, where Ashley speaks with corporate professionals, celebrities, entrepreneurs, authors, and speakers who are transitioning or have transitioned to entrepreneurship.